This weekend's Pride Parade will feature a contingent of active duty and veteran military members. And for the first time ever, the MCRD Marine Corps Band will be marching too.
Our Brian White talked to some veterans involved with Pride about how the military's relationship with the LGBTQ+ community has evolved over the years.
How far have we come since Don't Ask, Don't Tell? What was it like before, during, and after that policy? I had the pleasure of speaking with two military veterans who shared their experiences.
The feeling is just amazing. The reception you get and the energy is just intense.
Sergeant Clay Kilpatrick is chair of the San Diego Pride Military Department, and his involvement with Pride is nothing he would have ever imagined while he was serving as a Marine back in the late 80s.
If you told me, in a couple of decades, you'll be standing up and supporting our active duty and veteran community in a Pride event, I probably wouldn't have believed you.
When he was serving in the Marine Corps, he was stationed in San Diego, and it was before Don't Ask, Don't Tell.
I was extremely closeted because if I had been caught engaging in homosexual acts or even accused of being a homosexual, I would have been put in the brig. I would have lost everything. I would have lost my entire career.
And he wasn't alone. It was a common fear back then.
Being gay in the military at that time, you were afraid if you got, caught, you'd be fired.
Sergeant Bob Lehman joined the Marine Corps in 1983 and served for 10 years.
The biggest part for me was the loneliness, and Marines are taught not to lie, but yet you're living a lie every day, and it was a really tough time.
After fighting in Desert Storm, he returned to the United States and became a Marine recruiter. And he had to ask new recruits an awkward question.
Have you ever engaged in homosexual activity? So as a gay man to have to ask that, and I was hidden, myself, so that was a pretty tough thing.
Both Sergeant Kilpatrick and Sergeant Lehman left the military before Don't Ask, Don't Tell became policy in 1993, but they remember what it was like then.
People could live their lives as long as they didn't talk about it. To say, well, you can't put a picture of your husband on the desk, but someone else, he can have a picture of his wife or she can have a picture of her husband, and that's okay.
When Don't Ask, Don't Tell was repealed in 2011, it brought monumental positive change.
What that allowed is people to live their true, authentic lives. For example, I have friends who are in the service now who are legally married, and they're entitled to base housing.
It also meant service members could wear uniforms in the parade.
It brought tears to your eyes to be able to march with active duty people in the parade and see all those young, proud people.
Both men believe the military's relationship with the LGBTQ+ community has been heading in the right direction over the decades. But they know there is always more to be done.
You're allowed to serve openly, but there still can be discrimination, you still have to be vigilant.
And part of being vigilant is just being visible.
By being able to be seen and visible, it's harder to discriminate. When people know someone who is LGBT, it's harder to say, well, their rights are lesser than mine.
In Hillcrest, I'm Brian White for CBS 8.
Thanks, Brian. And the Pride Parade in Hillcrest starts at 10 a.m. this Saturday, just 2 more days. Jesse Pagan and I will bring you live coverage from the parade. You can join us in person, or if you can't make it down to Hillcrest, visit CBS8.com, log on to the CBS 8 app, or any of our other digital platforms because we will be streaming live.